And I don't think I've ever seen an indictment like this in all of my time. It alleges human trafficking, human rights violations, the use of forced labor, human rights violations specific to the fact that these children were targeted because of their race.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about a white couple in Sissonville, West Virginia, adopting 5 black children and forcing them into slavery, quite literally. If you see the indictment, you see the charges talking about human trafficking of a minor, forced labor of a minor, things of that nature are in the actual documents. And the reason why I mentioned the race is because these children were targeted because of their race to become slaves. Now, the couple are originally from Washington State, and they adopted these children in Washington and brought them to West Virginia. Now, I saw this on Oliver Mack, Right Wing Angels page. Shout out to him for posting it. And it really touched me because I'm from this area. I was born in Charleston, West Virginia, which is like 15 minutes from Sissonville. I know about this area, Sissonville. I'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. And this is really shocking and really crazy. Now, we have a lot of details to get into, but first things first, let's check out a news clip here. I will link to everything in the description. If you're on IG, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
A Sissonville couple accused of human trafficking and forced labor of adopted children, including 2 teenagers who were found locked in a barn in Sissonville. Well, they're back in jail.
Now, during their arraignment this afternoon, Judge Mary Claire Akers significantly increased the bonds for Gene Whitefeather and Donald Lance. Anna Saunders joins us live in the studio tonight with the reason. Anna?
Dave, Gina, before setting their bonds to $500,000 cash each, Judge Akers said she has never seen an indictment quite like this. And that
Now, before they continue, I've not seen anything quite like this in recent history. You would think that we are in the late 1800s, post-slavery, something like that. Now, this is 2024, and this is happening in real life. This is not a skit. This is not a prank. This is not a joke. This is dead serious. You have these people who literally got these black children from, I guess you would say, orphanage, wherever they were, and placed them into actual slavery. They had them in the barn. It was slave-like conditions. Let's keep on going.
Not only alleges the trafficked black children adopting them from shelters and foster care, forcing them to work, but that they specifically targeted them because of their race.
Jeannie Whitefeather and Donald Lance came in on their own for their arraignments, but left in cuffs after Judge Mary Claire Akers set their bonds at $500,000, more than double what they had already paid.
Now, I read about this. They had already paid like $200,000, and then they were out on bond, I suppose. And when they came back, they had to pay $500,000, or that was a new bond. I don't know if they're able to make it, but that's what they are being charged with. Now, some may say that they're just trying to get money from them. And really, listen, I'm not even mad at them just fleecing all the money, taking whatever they can, and then locking them up, giving them the rope, whatever. I'm not even mad at that. Let's keep on going.
And I don't think I've ever seen an indictment like this in all of my time. It alleges human trafficking, human rights violations, the use of forced labor, human rights violations specific to the fact that these children were targeted because of their race, and their use as basically slaves from what the indictment alleges, along with human trafficking and neglect with serious risk of bodily injury or death. I don't find the bond to be sufficient.
Whitefeather and Lance were first arrested last October when a welfare check turned into the discovery of 2 teens apparently locked in a shed where investigators said they lived in deplorable conditions.
Look at this. You see these conditions? They had them in this shed. That's where they were, and they were forced to live there and work out of there.
Behind the Sissonville home. 1 other kid was found inside the house and 2 others were not home, all adopted by the couple. The indictment brought more than a dozen new charges against them, alleging human trafficking and forced labor, also civil rights violations, as investigators believe they targeted these children specifically from a shelter because they were black, forcing them to work as slaves. Whitefeather and Lance were originally in Washington State, and it is alleged they brought the children with them to Sissonville when they moved.
Counts 9 through 12 allege the use of forced labor, which I read as slavery.
Bond was initially set at $200,000 cash, and they were both able to post it. Prosecutors have said in a new complaint for forfeiture, the couple sold a $725,000 80-acre ranch in Washington.
So this is in Tonasket, Washington. If you guys know what it is, y'all let me know in the comments.
Washington State, and sold their Sissonville home to post bond, and they believe both of these properties were paid for through trafficking.
Now, my question is, what exactly were they doing to make money from this operation? Now, I really, maybe I'm asking the question. I don't really want to know the answer, but I am kind of curious.
That will be decided in a separate court matter, but because of this, prosecutors say they found discrepancies in the financial affidavit Lance filled out for a court-appointed attorney, leading to a new charge on his indictment.
Some of the information on his face is inaccurate.
Lance had to fill out a new affidavit today as the two were taken back into custody.
Now, the next time these two are scheduled to appear in court is for their scheduled trial in September. Prosecutors noted there are volumes of evidence in this case for all sides to go through. Now, in terms of the bond issue with how the original bonds were paid for, that is to be worked out at a later date. Live in the studio, Anna Saunders, Eyewitness News.
We have more great.
Good evening, and thank you for joining.
So that's what's going on out there in West Virginia, Sissonville. Now, there's a lot I want to say here. There's so much I want to say. First of all, like I said, I was born in this particular area, Kanawha County. That's like right up the way from where I was born. I got a lot of family in this area. Sissonville, from what I know, is like a suburb, a bedroom community of Charleston. It's not known to be a dangerous place. And quite frankly, in 2024, although there are still some dangerous places in West Virginia where you probably don't want to go, it's not necessarily because they're racist, although there are some racist places. The danger is because you're probably going to run into some tweakers, people that are just high on drugs and violent that way. You're talking about people who are in abject poverty and high on meth and crack and fentanyl pills because of Big Pharma intentionally dumping all these pills into the region as a test subject. But that's a different story, and I digress. The point is, the danger in West Virginia is not really about some kind of racism thing. It's about the drugs and the violence that may come from that. And again, these individuals were from Washington State, and they trafficked these children to West Virginia. Now, I don't know why they had to go here to do this, but whatever the case may be, I hope that these individuals get the rope 100%. And you know what? I was thinking about this, and I was kind of scratching my head like, what does it remind me of? I was thinking about another case that this reminds me of, and I thought about Ruby Franke over there in Utah. Remember the quote-unquote mommy vlogger? She did the exact same thing. Well, not quite the exact same thing. In the case of Ruby Franke, she locked her own kids up and used food as a weapon, starved her kids, had them outside in the baking sun, things of this nature, treating her children basically like slaves, and was making money off of them because they had the vlog. They had the big YouTube channel that brought in a lot of money. They had a podcast and all kind of stuff that emanated from the traffic they would get from these kids who were being placed in really deplorable conditions. Very similar to what they were doing in West Virginia, but those adopted kids, obviously the big difference is that they were not the biological children, and there was a racist element in it because they were targeted due to being black. But yeah, if you're out in Sissonville, if you're anywhere in West Virginia and you're a black person, you're going to stand out. It's a 97% white state. I mean, Charleston has a pretty big black population, obviously, but once you go beyond that and you're a black person, you're going to stand out. That's probably why they had them in the shed, things of this nature. That's why there was a welfare check done. Maybe some neighbors had not seen the kids in a while. Maybe there was some suspicious activity. They do the welfare check. Oh, wow, what do we have here? We have you locking these kids up, using them as slaves. You're going to go. So as I close, I want to say this. I hope this couple gets the ultimate, gets the rope, gets the chair, gets the needle, or a combination of all of the above. This is really crazy to happen in 2024, but it can happen. Now, luckily, we live in the USA, and there are laws against this kind of thing. So if somebody does do it, then they get punished. They get caught, they get punished, they get sent to the penitentiary, and that's that. Now, some parts of the world, You go to China, Africa, other parts of Asia, etc. Well, hey, human trafficking, forced labor is not really a big deal. And some of the forced labor is used to create some of the things you need the most in your everyday life, unfortunately. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on this whole situation? Do you know about Sissonville, Kanawha County, in this particular area? Are you surprised? Are you not surprised? How about these people? What should be the punishment for them? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. As I said, I was born in this area. I got family out here. I've been out there a lot. I know about Sissonville. They did that show from MTV called Buck Wild in Sissonville. This is like a bedroom community. It's like a suburb type area. It's not a place where you would think this kind of thing would happen. But sometimes you never know. You could live in a beautiful community, gated community, and right next door could be a monster. Sometimes you're not always aware of what's happening. Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.